you, Becky. Um, so yeah, I just asked myself the question, what does Path of Hope and Rotary mean to me? Um, Path of Hope and Rotary has connected me with like-minded individuals. If you had asked me back when I started in 2018, I couldn't have imagined the things I've achieved and the people I've met since the first meeting. I knew very little about Rotary and Path of Hope. In a way, it has changed my life. I've made many friendships of a lifetime and created connections that have furthered my career in so many ways. When I first met the team, we soon realized we had a common vision to help other people and make a positive change in our society. This journey has taught me life lessons and skills such as communication, leadership, and given me confidence that I would not have developed otherwise. During my studies at Curtin University, I was approached by Seb and asked if I wanted to be a part of a marketing team. I jumped at the opportunity of this 8-month internship with Path of Hope to market their annual gala. We had a real life marketing experience and mentoring from business professionals. Because I was interested and had a background in film and photography, I was able to put those skills to use. Each team member drew on their strengths, which enabled us to work together to form a strong, a creative team, which led by Seb. We created a victim-to-victor marketing campaign on social media. Myself and my peers produced a filmed a mini-series about domestic violence. We got a really good response from this campaign and brought awareness, especially to younger generations, of the impact of domestic violence on families and individuals. The project we worked on really taught me how to work under tight deadlines and network with like-minded individuals. I think Seb would agree we would collaborate with one another and see possibilities that we would have not thought of on our own. Even though it was stressful at times, we were sometimes often under pressure, but being at the 2019 Path of Hope Gala and seeing the final product of our efforts made it all worth it. I continue to maintain my relationships that I formed during that time, and I made contacts which led me to other work in the industry. I developed my skills and ability to work with members of the community, and the experience I gained not only in marketing but in videography really took my skills to the next level. Since the internship, my confidence to approach prospective business partners has increased. Rebecca and the Path of Hope team have been the most supportive and helpful people I've ever met. Rebecca is there when you need her and brings out the best in people. Looking at my experience with Rotary and Path of Hope, I encourage any like-minded individual to join this project or any other Rotary projects. Not only you enhance your skills, but it will help you find your individual strength and weakness and value working as a team. Over to you, Seb.
Thanks, Mason. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you went through. Unfortunately, I can't speak as well as you, so this probably isn't going to go as well as that.
Oh, thanks, sir.
So I've sort of split mine down into 3 key areas that I learned during this process. And first of all was the leadership role, which I think Becky will definitely sort of testify to. And then second was taking an idea and applying it fully across a marketing campaign. It's more of a marketing related skill that I learned, but it's definitely something that's helped me going forward. And the third thing was communicating to different people with the same goal. So we were working together from different organizations and different backgrounds and getting through each other in the way that we needed to. So to start off with the leadership idea, I really got to firsthand experience what it was to manage a team and sort of be involved with people and making sure that they've got what they need to get through and deliver their part of the project. I think Mason will agree that we were sort of working together a lot, but there was also times people were off by themselves, and then we'd come back together and make sure that everything was working well. I think that was probably the main thing that I learned throughout the whole process of how to work in that environment. And I think that's really put me in a good position going forward. Along with that, it was sort of dealing with the change that comes in these types of situations. Specifically, we had filmed a whole video and sort of the launch of our campaign that we didn't actually get to end up using. So sort of handling that, and then handling one of our team members actually deciding to leave just based off of that. Sort of how we molded and reformed our campaign around that was one of the things that I learned, and sort of how do we continue with the idea that we have and not give up on that, even though we faced quite substantial opposition. Along with the leadership sort of role would be playing my role as a part of the team on the committee. So reporting what we've done and making sure that Beck's all right with it, making sure that all the other parts of the other parts of the gala are working well together, and sort of that we were living up to our role in that. And the last sort of point within the leadership idea was sort of representing Path of Hope in a good way, and sort of ensuring that whatever I did to sort of talk about Path of Hope, I did it in the best way I could, and then I represented my team in the best way I could as well. So in terms of the marketing idea of really sort of taking this idea and putting it across the marketing campaign, this was definitely the first time that I had experience being at the top end of a project and sort of seeing how all the different platforms that we're using, such as billboards and email campaigns and sort of social media stuff, and how that all sort of worked together to deliver the message that we were trying to. So I think that was definitely a really good experience for then going on to the marketing industry, where hopefully I'll eventually be in the role of on top of all of it and sort of making sure it all works together. And then sort of again with the coping with the changes that come with people leaving the organization and things like that, and still getting it together was definitely a massive part of it. In terms of communicating with different people within the same goal, it was a lot of discussing the same idea with a lot of people that sort of had come from different backgrounds and had different levels of awareness of Path of Hope and the issue itself. So sort of breaking down the idea that we had, which was victim to victor, into explainable process that we could go through to people who may not have experienced it or may not have experienced. I mean, we spoke to both of those types of people throughout this process, and people from really all walks of life, including policemen, businessmen, people like that, a lot of Rotarians as well, and sort of explaining that idea to them in the best way that we could. I think breaking down that idea and getting it into something that you can communicate with people to no matter where they come from is probably the most influential thing here. And then one of the things I learned from that was how willing people were to learn and sort of accepting of what we were trying to do, and actually willing to help in so many ways. We didn't really face any no's along the way, which was great. And then just something to touch on here, it was definitely my first experience with just working in a professional setting and handling emails and just meetings and sort of making sure everyone was okay, and just learning throughout that process, especially from Beck as well along the way, was important for me to get set up in a professional setting. And I hope it makes me more employable later on in life. Essentially, that I just tried to touch on a few of the harder skills that I had learned, because I knew Nathan was talking about more of the broader scope of things, but I definitely agree with what he said as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. On to you, Sagar.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for that, Seb. I think I'll just discuss, I guess, my view on Rotary and my experience thus far, and also touch on my experience of Path of Hope. I think my experience has been a little bit different to Mason's and Seb's in that, you know, I haven't been an intern. I've just volunteered my time. So hopefully my, I guess, reflection and experience is from a different angle. In terms of what Rotary means to me and how much value Rotary has given me, I think I know it has been absolutely immense, and the value has been tremendous. If you asked me, I guess, a couple of years ago, what Rotary means to me, whether I know about Rotary at all, and what organizations or what community projects they're involved with, I honestly couldn't tell you. But then throughout high school and then into the first couple of years of uni, I started getting involved with Rotary through RIPEN, which is the Rotary Youth Program of Enrichment, which is like a basic level leadership camp. And then, as Rebecca mentioned, RILA, where I was able to meet her son and then connect with her. Rotary has also given me a couple of other opportunities through, I guess, the Georgia Rotary Student Program, which I have been accepted for next year. And I'm looking forward to visiting Georgia. And I guess Rotary, in some sense or in complete sense, has connected me with one of my biggest passions, which is this issue of, breaking the intergenerational cycle of domestic violence. And through that leadership camp, I was introduced to Rebecca. And without a leadership camp like that, I wouldn't have been able to meet, like-minded people, and I wouldn't have been able to set up this connection. And then I guess this kind of leads on to my experience with Path of Hope. I have found the experience to be extremely rewarding. I've kind of come to realize this idea that when you do good without expecting any return, like, good things come your way. Like, there's karma that comes back, and Rebecca has, the amount of effort that I've put in and the reward I've got has been tenfold through working with Path of Hope and through working with Rebecca. As Seb mentioned, he's particularly interested in marketing, and through Path of Hope, he was able to gain some relevant experience. I am interested in the legal sector, and working with Path of Hope, I've kind of been exposed to, ideas that I definitely have to confront in the legal sector, and issues that will naturally come across. And also, I've been able to see how an organization works internally. That's provided a lot of insight and understanding that I'll definitely need in the workplace. So essentially, to summarize what Rotary and Path of Hope mean to me, they honestly mean a lot, because they've provided me with tremendous value that I didn't know existed. And I think what might be a talking point is that young people don't really realize the value Rotary has, and there might be some misconceptions around that Rotary is for maybe an older demographic, but I think that hopefully changes with young people as Mason, Seb, myself, trying to do good in our community. So yeah.
I'd just like to know, guys, would you do it all again? There's a lot of work.
I definitely would. Yeah, 100%.
And now, can I ask you that? Perhaps, Rebecca, can you stick your fingers in your ears? No, seriously, would you do it all again? Yep. So, Seb, you do it all again?
I definitely would. Yeah.
110%. I would definitely do it again. It's such a rewarding experience, and it's 200%. I would do it all over again. Such a big achievement. Awesome new people, and you create friendships like me and Seb, and it's just so rewarding as well. And it's always good to give back, and that, like Sega was saying, it's just very rewarding as well, just making that difference and change.
Right.
John, as cliche as it sounds, I think the only regret is that I didn't start it sooner, that I didn't get involved with Rotary sooner, that I didn't, find out about Path of Hope sooner, because maybe, I could be making a bigger difference in my community. So
guys, how do we spread the word and tell others about this? Because I know for a fact that Curtin graduates are the best graduates of any graduates in the city of Perth. So, how do we spread this word and get this a little broader?
I think from a marketing perspective, it's sort of like, it's an interesting challenge, because you have the brand of Rotary is quite an older thing, and it's the infrastructure for it isn't set up, like the, I guess, digital infrastructure isn't set up to market things to younger people. So it's sort of quite a big project to get it, like the whole idea behind Rotary out there. I think things like case studies and really in-depth videos about sort of what the process of Rotary does would be a great way to do it. Whether that's worth the investment or sort of a manageable project is another question. It definitely, I think on a small scale within Curtin, just talking to the heads of each school and sort of showing them what's going on with with projects and stuff like that, and trying to get people involved is a great way. And also sort of setting up internships where people are led by people in the industry. So say if you have like a lawyer that's running the legal side of things, having them with clerks and stuff from universities would be a great way to do it. Yeah, just a few ideas there.
Fantastic.
I also think as well, dealing with a lot of things. I do like a lot of photography and videography, and in that industry, you're doing a lot of collaborations with other artists as well. So there's so many ways you can get the word out about Path of Hope and Rotary. I'm a big believer in digital as well. Target younger generations or whoever's online. But I also think collaborations with other people and other businesses as well. Even though myself, everywhere I go, I'm always talking about Rotary or Path of Hope. Every time I meet new people, I'm always talking about it. So it's also networking, but I think I'm a big believer in collaborations with other businesses and organisations. So I think that's a big one for me.
Fantastic. Yeah. So if I said that there was a digital strategy coming up for Rotary, would you three gentlemen be the right gentlemen to ask about that?
Yeah,
maybe not me. I'm not the best with computers, but I think these two could probably help.
They can do that, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think they could. I think I would just ruin it, honestly.
I'd just personally like to say thank you for sharing those thoughts and your journey with us, because it was very insightful, and I think that we don't really understand the impact because we've been in Rotary for a long time, most of us. We just take it for granted that Rotary does such wonderful things and has changed lives, including our own. And so it's very refreshing to hear the impact that it's had on your lives. And I'm very excited to see where it's going to take you, the three of you, in the future, because you have fantastic opportunities and the world's your oyster, really. Rotary does open doors, and I'm sure it will open for you even more so. And I'd just like to reinforce what Becky was saying. We get very passionate about Rotary, and keeping your life in balance is very important. And we constantly have to remind ourselves of that. That family does come first, and of course then your work and your studies, and then Rotary comes after that. So just always keep that in mind, because we get very passionate, because what Rotary does in the world is does change lives, and it does change people, and I think inherently in our soul that's what we want to do. We want to do that more and more. So I'm very excited that you're going to be embarking on this journey for us. I've just got one question, I guess, for you, and that was with regards to RILA. I think you mentioned, Sagar, that you were a RILA student. Was that right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So can I ask how you got involved with RILA? What brought you to go to do the RILA course?
Well, I guess I found out about RILA through initially getting involved with Ripen. So Ripen, I'm not sure if you know, so that's the leadership camp before RILA. So my high school, selected 2 people from my cohort to go and join Ripen. So then I guess I was introduced to Rotary through Ripen, and then naturally RILA. I actually applied a month late, I think, for RILA, and somehow someone dropped out. So I got lucky enough to make it through. So like the stars aligned. But yeah, I found out through Ripen.
Through Ripen, okay, sorry. And what school did you come through?
Perth Mod.
Okay, excellent, thank you. It's just helpful to know that in terms of future directing. And I really liked your thoughts, Sebastian, about the digital focus and making sure that we do pay attention to that area to get the word out there, and to get it out there in a means that is appropriate to people to understand the stories, and those, the words you used there were just fabulous. So thanks for sharing that with us, because I'm sure that John's going to pick up on that. I can see his ears pricking up, and I'm sure that we'll take that on board as well. And we do hope that you can be part of, that exciting journey for all of us. So thank you.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting. Definitely.
My takeaway so far is that I've got at least 2 out of 3 volunteers here. So, I mean, I'm happy with proceeding so far.
Right. and actually, I would like to make it just a small plug, because we talked, Becky, about looking for projects and things, and there are some really exciting projects out there. And one of them in particular is for homeless, and it's building homes for the homeless on land that's been disused by shires that they aren't using. And a number of shires, 4 shires, have already allocated land, and we're starting to build homeless houses in North Fremantle, which is very exciting in the next 6 to 8 months. And Rotary has formed a partnership, and we will be providing the furniture and fittings and household goods for each of those homes. So the first lot is 18 homes, which is very exciting. So I just needed to give a plug for that. But obviously Rotary, we have so many projects, and just loving it that you're passionate about it as we are. So thank you. Watch this space. I'm sure there'll be more projects being raised with you.
Me personally, it's Rotary's mission, and I think that comes down to, personally, that kind of hits heart. So I want to make a change in the world for the better, and in our society, and also the friendship and connections as well through Rotary. So that's probably my 2 biggest ones, is the Rotary's mission, and those connections as well, which was still here.
Very, very similar stuff. I think just sort of the general idea that I don't know, I feel better when I'm trying to help the community, I guess. Like, it genuinely feels good. The work feels like I'm accomplishing something. I'm not look at it like, oh, I have to do this. It's just sort of, you have to do it, but it's 100% worth it for me. It's not really like, I look at some work when it's just for money, and it's like, who cares? What can you buy with money, really? Like, you sort of have everything you need at a certain point. Like, I think it feels good to give back, basically.
I think, firstly, the issue is something that has made me stay with Path of Hope. I think the issue is, behind closed doors. It's not an issue that our government or media really addresses. So I think spreading awareness about the issue is vitally important. So firstly, the issue has made me stay with Path of Hope. And then secondly, as Seb mentioned, I believe that, the work that I'm doing is actually contributing to something meaningful. I'm not part of an organization or charity that is just, there to sort of facilitate this issue, but actually make meaningful change in our local community. So that's why I stay with Path of Hope.
I just popped into the chat line. I was wondering from the boys, and first of all, congratulations. It's so wonderful to hear these 3 young men speak about their passion, and it's exciting for the future of our society. But I wondered if they could say, what was the bigger draw card? Is it the opportunity for mentorship, or is it the project? Which is the greater draw card for them coming in?
So for me personally, to be honest, I hadn't done volunteering before, and I was looking for an opportunity to basically build a marketing portfolio and sort of get experience under my belt. So when I first took on the project, it was definitely, get something to show for what I've done and sort of learn in the process. But literally on the first meeting, it was something that I was going to talk about earlier, was when we sat down with Beck, and I believe you were there, Jill, at Sarah Jane's house. Yeah, potentially. But just
I think I was supposed to be there, but didn't get there. Not quite sure.
So yeah, we just sat down there with Becky, and Becky was going through how Path of Hope sort of came about, and just to hear that story sort of really inspired me and showed me that this was a group of people that really cared about an issue and was trying to do something about it. And literally from that point forward, my whole attitude towards it changed. It became sort of, well, what can we do here? Not sort of like, okay, I'm going to go and do what is told of me. I'm going to try and how can we actually add to this, and how can we make this more than what I had in my head before? So that was, to finish that, at the end, it definitely is the whole project itself. But to be honest, when I started, it was a way to get a portfolio together.
So the hook is the mentoring opportunity, and then very quickly the passion takes over.
I think that right? For me that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, because sorry, Mason.
Oh, sorry, Jill. No, you go. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, for Rotarians, it's really important that we understand how do we attract more young people. You know, what is it that's attractive to young people?
I find personally from my experience, I did some volunteering in year 11. I went over to Nepal and we went to like a small community in Kathmandu, and we built a school, and I found that felt very good to give back. So from that experience, when I heard about this project, it kind of made me, I want to do this. I want to give back and kind of make it a difference. So I think definitely the project appealed to me more than the mentoring. But as we developed and went like through the internship, the mentoring definitely was a plus as well, having that support. And I guess someone like Becky that having that life experience and giving that out, giving that advice to us definitely appealed to me as well. So I have to say a bit of both, but at first it was definitely the project, just from my previous experience.
I think Kelly just lost her audio. I'm not sure what happened. She just sent a message in the group chat. Not sure if that can be fixed, or like I said, I'm probably the worst person to assist with that.
Thank you so much, Seika, for that. I'm not a very good host.
Okay.
I'll have a look at that and you can answer
okay.
question.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So I think I've got to side with Mason on that question, Jill. I think the project was the initial hook because domestic violence is an issue that I've spoken about at previous speaking competitions. It's also an issue I wrote an essay for one of the scholarships I have at Curtin, looking at the issue of domestic violence in Australia, particularly, and how it's, an issue that's behind closed doors. It's particularly insidious, and, there's not much media attention around it, and people, are a bit complacent. So the issue was what drew me in, and the project more so. But then again, the mentorship aspect was unprecedented. As I mentioned when I was speaking before, the value that I have gained personally has been tenfold through, Path of Hope, about learning about these issues a little bit more, broadening my horizon, but also in terms of personal development through Rebecca's contacts and I guess weekly chats and life lessons.
So can I ask, have any of you actually looked further into Rotary, into other projects, or, has Path, and well, I know with Sebastian and Mason, the volume, the amount of amazing work they did last year with the Gala Ball, so maybe that's enough, but have you actually explored any other projects or any other avenues of Rotary?
I guess I can answer that. I haven't particularly explored any other aspects with Rotary, but with Rotarac, I've been trying to get involved because I know, like I said, there's maybe a stigma around Rotary, but Rotarac is for a little bit, younger demographic. So I've been in contact with Eshwa, so he's the WA Rotarac representative. Yep. So I think I saw the application for the Australian Executive Board or whatever, and so I just applied for it. But the chair called me up and said, you haven't been on any board, so you can't even qualify for these positions, but we like your application. Do you want to get involved with Rotarac? I'll put you in touch with Eshwa. So I've definitely, taken the opportunity to get more involved with Rotary through Rotarac.
Add on to that, actually, I did a little bit of work with, I think Jacques, the younger dude in Perth Rotary. So me and Claire did a little bit of work with him. He was attempting to start a documentary about Rotary and UWA and the medical school there. We did a little bit of work with him for that, which is something that we did at post Path of Hope. Yeah, so I've done a little bit of stuff.
I guess the important thing is that these are networks that you have now for your life, and through Path of Hope, your primary contact. But you've met several Rotarians and Rotarians at district level and in different other clubs, and even if you don't remember them, they will all remember you. So it's an amazing experience, an amazing string to your bow that Rebecca and Path of Hope and Rotary have enabled, really.
Yeah, definitely. At least for me, I'm super thankful for everything that I've got for it. And I'm excited to see sort of where it goes from here. I think definitely there's so many opportunities for people to, like for me to contribute to different things, and sort of as our skills grow in various areas, apply them as they get better and better, and sort of work in different roles going forward.
I agree, Seb, as well. Exactly what you said. Totally agree. It's looking forward to the future and then see what's there. It's exciting.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go very shortly, but I just wanted to say, guys, well done, congratulations. It's obviously been a great effort that you put in, and continue to do so, I'm sure, in many ways. And Rebecca, I know you give these guys a lot of credit, but they, I'm sure, would sort of pass that to you as well. And no doubt you've been a wonderful mentor for them. So. And continue to be so. So I hope that we get this to keep in touch with you all, and that we keep you involved in Rotary in some way, shape, or form, because it's exactly you guys that are the sorts of people that are going to be the future of Rotary. And for an organisation that's got 1.2 million members, we could certainly do with a lot more younger ones. I know that much. Not that anybody on this call is in any way, shape, or form on the old bracket. Okay, just want to make that clear. Yeah, well done. I love it. Good job.
I just would like to reinforce what you were saying there, John, and certainly for you, Sagar, where you were talking about getting involved in Rotaract and opportunities there with Ishwa. And an example of what John's doing as district governor this year, in coming year, he's invited those that are interested in taking board positions in his board. And so I'm really excited to say that Ishwara has accepted a position on John's board this year as a director. And so I think that that's an opportunity that perhaps may not have come Ishwara's way, but it's come as a result of the work that he's done through Rotaract and the opportunities. So the fact that he's now on the board, then it gives him opportunities for his career in other aspects, that you were talking about, Sagar. And so I just, I congratulate John in making that opportunity available for Rotaractors. And certainly there's 2 other Rotaractors also that are on his committees on the board as well. So you guys, the world is your oyster. So, just take it as it comes. And you're very lucky to have Rebecca, I think, as a mentor, because she's pretty inspirational and she's one of a kind. So thanks for pulling it together, Rebecca.